Well, I certainly wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for my roots and being surrounded by culture, language, nature, family, friends. So I'd like to tell you a little bit more about my journey, which is quite difficult, so I hope you'll bear with me. So it's been an amazing year, tremendous for me. Last year we created a bespoke collection celebrating Leonardo da Vinci and 500 years. And how we do this is we get our designers to tell his story. So they research and find the details that fascinate them, the areas around his life, and they translate that into amazing designs. And we create a collection of work that's cohesive, that tells his story. And we were delighted to be featured in the Kelvin Grove Museum and Art Gallery to celebrate the Life and Drawing exhibition. So we complemented that exhibition. We were also complementing the exhibitions down in London. So we're delighted to move our stories down to London. And this was held at the British Library and the National Gallery. So moving out of Edinburgh was great and down to London. But to top it all, at the end of last year, we received an email out of the blue to be invited out to China. Hadn't really thought about China before, wasn't quite in our vision at that time, but we were invited out to showcase all our collections as part of Creative December in Shenzhen, China. So that was an incredible experience for us. So where did it all start? Well, this is me, aged about 4, with my brother and my mum. And we were brought up in Italy. An amazing experience in the north of Italy, in a place called Santa Margherita Ligure. It's in the north, and it's a very Italian place because all the visitors are from Genoa, from Milan, from Torino. So we were immersed in this amazing culture and this community. And really, we didn't have a television, we didn't have a telephone, so we would run wild with the local children. And our daily life was about being involved with the community. We would, get our shoes fixed by the local shoemaker. We would have the leather worker on the corner. We would visit the bakery daily. They have the best focaccia in the world. And we would also run around the lace ladies in the piazza and watch them gaggling and toggling their lace. And my best friend, one of his mum, Bruna, used to employ an army of hand knitters and made amazing jumpers. And it was only years later that I realized that she was knitting for the likes of Trussardi and Versace. So we were running around with these amazing cast-offs. So fast forward to my 18th birthday, and my priorities had changed somewhat. I was more interested in sunning myself in the nightclubs and the local talent. And I was rushing around all the time and throwing things in bags and belongings in bags and moving to the next appointment. And for my 18th birthday, my mum, had this bag made for me. But not just any bag. She had the local leather worker really create this with reinforced corners and studs at the bottom so that it would protect all my belongings when I would throw them around. And really, that's when my passion for craftsmanship and design started. Not only did I have a beautiful bag, but I had friendships and memories because years later, the leather worker would smile and wave at me, recognizing his work. And not only that, but I returned 10 years later to have it relined. And as memories, well, my mum died when I was 23. And so this bag became a constant companion to me for years later. And I'm hoping, because it's in immaculate condition, so I still have it today, that my daughter will maybe want to use this because she is worse than me in throwing her belongings absolutely everywhere. And so life continued. I moved back to Scotland and I had a career in tourism. And I traveled the world. I went to Australasia and Europe, which sounds incredible, but it could also be quite lonely. So as soon as I arrived in any city or town, I would scour the streets and scour the town for designers and makers who would immediately make me feel very much at home. We would talk about their discipline, we would talk about their practice, the materials they use, their inspiration, and we would compare it to the work in Italy and the work in Scotland. So, yes, I travelled to New Zealand and had an amazing experience there. I visited Rotorua, which is the centre for Maori culture, art and craft, and well worth a visit if you get the chance. And in Germany, in Spain, anywhere I visited, I would try and connect with studios and workshops and learn about their heritage and connect with their culture through design. So it was very, very important. And as you can imagine, I have an entire household full of collections from around the world. And I have to say that's really important to me because if I look at one piece, I'm transported back into that moment in time, into that country. So it really was a fantastic experience. But things changed. I was after 18 years in tourism, things changed in 2012. And I have to tell you that my daughter said to me this morning, who does drama, she said, if you get emotional, Mum, what you do is you imagine that the audience is naked. So I do apologize. She's 14. Anyway, I really had to reassess the world around me. My brother died in a car crash. Sorry, not a car crash. My brother died after an accident. And after a number of years in hospital, we'd become really close, and he'd left 2 young children, so it was quite hard. And really, my reaction was that I really needed to go back to my roots and find some sort of meaning. The realization that moments and time was so precious, things really couldn't continue as they were. The speed for me, the speed and pressure of daily life was really out of control. I felt life was focusing on the speed of developing technology, these slick screens and perfection, and I really needed the tactile nature of craft. I needed to go back to the slow process of making and really the nurturing of a creative community. In my eyes, to be honest, I thought the world was going mad. I mean, it was obvious that there was overconsumption, the planet was being destroyed, and social media was creating so much anxiety and mental health problems. My daughter was 6 at the time, and I really wanted her to experience what I had experienced. I thought, otherwise, how on earth was she going to cope in this new world? So, I know you're going to be thinking, what are all these bizarre pictures that I'm putting up? But this was really when my root cause and light bulb moment happened. When we returned to Italy, my daughter spent a term in the local school. And when we returned and back in town, there was no leather worker on the corner, and the lace ladies weren't in the piazza gaggling away, creating their lace. And the shoemaker was gone. And I thought, if this is happening in Italy, the heart of craft and design, what on earth is happening in the rest of the world? So, my vision was to put designer makers center stage, to create a platform that would focus on that. And we had all this amazing technology. Why couldn't we use this technology to share this talent, to share the process and the value of making? So in 2016, we launched Craft Design House. And we commissioned 10 designer makers to create a unique piece and we filmed them in that process. And we launched the collection, so the final piece, at an exhibition along with the films, so that we could showcase the work that went in. It was a great night. And yeah, the point of the platform was really where we could reconnect customers with the creators and the product with the process. That was really important. How could we value this more? So, just to add to my very comfortable talk today. Yes. So, I'm not sure if that's no, we'll carry on, I'll carry on. Yes, okay. No, so yes, that was really important, but also at the same time, the culture and heritage sector were experiencing massive cuts, and in an overcrowded marketplace, they were really going to struggle. And for me, I used to love museums and very curious finding out all about their stories. And so what could be better? We're in a consumer-driven society. So I then thought, why don't we connect the stories through contemporary design and then support the heritage sector? I mean, as you will probably know, the younger generation, if we can encourage them and engage them through products, and if it was this amazing, cool piece that was designed by an even more amazing designer, then we might encourage them to visit that tiny museum in the middle of nowhere and then engage with their heritage and the stories of that museum. So, it hasn't been plain sailing. It was a difficult task. We support multidisciplinary designers, so it's not just one discipline. We wanted to include glass blowers, wood turners, weavers, jewelry designers, ceramists. So, really, if it wasn't for the support of the designer makers right at the beginning, the support of my family and friends, and in particular, I have to say two businesses that supported us in our early days, and that was Catherine McGurk at Kelvin Grove Museum and Art Gallery. We designed and created a collection for Charles Rennie Mackintosh at 150 years, and that was a fantastic experience, and it allowed us to understand that process. And also Andrew Marshall at Carlowry Castle. I mean, he let us run wild with telling the story of Isabel Wiley Hutchison. A fantastic experience, and we designed her story through contemporary design and created two installations so that we could connect with the very contemporary interior of Carlowry Castle. And we launched at an amazing event and then developed experiences around that. So we had talks and we had demonstrations from the designers. So it really was important for us to get these two businesses to support us. And they also wanted to support the design community. That was vital to them. So, really, by telling you all about this, what I'm trying to say is that if we celebrate and champion craftsmanship and design, whether you're in New Zealand, whether you're in China or Scotland, Italy, Spain, it's connecting to heritages, you know, the heritage of that country. There are no language barriers with design. There are no borders. So let's celebrate and work together and collaborate as much as we can. And it really is a full loop that feeds itself. And it's a place where everyone wins. Not only do you sustain and support designer maker talent and sustain their practice, but you can help support the heritage sector and these amazing stories and allow further engagement and curiosity to develop. You're also supporting the environment. I mean, that's critical to us. We have a transparent and traceable supply chain. It goes right back to the signature of the person that made it. And any business that we work with, we also encourage that and support that. So, and the customer in the end, well, they own an original piece, a memory, and they know that they're championing local designer makers and the environment. So my message today is very simple. Don't wait for something huge to happen in your life before you make the changes you want to make. Adjust your sail and take time and appreciate those precious moments. But I don't want to leave you with that quote. My daughter actually wrote that for my brother. It's this quote, because it was quite tough last year. I mean, it's always tough, and I know I'm talking to an audience of entrepreneurs, but I want, this is by Theodore Roosevelt in 1923, and it's all about being in the arena. So I just want to I'm proud to be in the arena with you for those that struggle every day. So thank you very much for your time today.